Dear Detour, you took us off-road on the gnarliest trails. You asked us to measure up. So yeah, we did. When life slings you mud, sling it right back. Stay strong, Toyota Trucks.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Athletes know how important it is to stay hydrated. But did you know there are other ways to hydrate besides just drinking water? In fact, milk is a great hydration option because it actually contains water, as well as electrolytes that are lost when your body sweats. So consider taking milk along with you to your next game or competition and enjoy the taste of greatness. For more help finding your greatness, visit unbottled.com.
It's time to start planning for back to school. That's why I got my kids vaccinated for COVID-19, so they can be protected from COVID when they're back in the classroom. Kids 12 and older can get vaccinated. The vaccines have been researched and tested. They're safe and they work. Getting vaccinated was quick and easy. You can walk into a pharmacy to get one. We got our COVID-19 vaccine, and I hope everyone will choose to get vaccinated too.
Get a free COVID-19 vaccine today. Find a location near you at covidvaccine.idaho.gov.
We're a valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
You train, you sweat, you practice, you go for the gold, you give 110%, but most of all, you aim for greatness. And milk is the performance enhancer that can help get you to your goal. Trusted by athletes and backed by science, there's a healthy helping of greatness in every refreshing glass of milk. So let nature's original sports drink help quench your thirst for greatness. For more help finding your greatness, visit unbottled.com.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process, is readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
Check, check, check. There we go.
Check.
All right. Hey, good evening and welcome into this IdahoSports.com Game Streams production of the 2021 Idaho State Football Tournament. Tournament coverage on IdahoSports.com is brought to you by the Idaho Division of Public Health, your local Toyota dealer, Valley-wide co-op and country stores, and Project Filter. Stop smoking, start living. We are living tonight at Lyle Henderson Field in Dayton, home to the West Side Pirates and home to this Class 2A semifinal showdown. Old familiar faces. This is a district rivalry in the semifinals. The fourth-seeded Bear Lake Bears come in with a record of 7-3. They will take on the top-seeded West Side Pirates. They are a perfect 9-0. Hi, everybody inside the broadcast booth. Brandon Bainey, Sean Kane, and the West Side Pep Band. Sean, semifinal round, district rivals. I can't think of a better way to settle the score.
No, hey, you got to play them once early in the season, and you know, maybe it didn't go the way you wanted to, and now you get your chance in the semifinals of state to right your wrongs, right the ship. No better way to send yourself into a state championship game.
These two teams met in the regular season. It was all the way back on September 24th. Westside won that night 42-8, but talking to the Bear Lake coaches prior to the game tonight, they said, we're a much different team. We've grown a lot since that September loss.
Yeah, and that's right there in the work they've done so far in the playoffs. You know, they've had 2 games so far in the playoffs. They beat Cole Valley Christian 14-3. They beat Nampa Christian 14-6, and those last 2 games they've averaged 320 yards per game. So they've really upped their yardage. They only had about 200 yards when they played Westside the first time. So just as an offensive-wise, they've really upped their game the last few outings for the Bear Lake Bears.
And Tayson Neal is the guy that triggers this Bear Lake offense. He's got a multitude of really talented receivers. Brady Shaw, Tyler Beersford, Bryson Crane has really come on. He's scored a couple of times in the 2 playoff wins. For Bear Lake, though, they've kind of started slowly, right? They fell behind Cole Valley Christian 3-0. They fell behind Nampa Christian 6-0. Didn't score until just before halftime. Against this Westside team that comes in with a 30-game winning streak, best in the state of Idaho, they can't afford a slow start tonight.
No, there's no slow start because Westside has done nothing slow this year, right? They've come out, they've got it going quick. But, Bear Lake's defense is, held teams to a total of 9 points in the last 2 games. So their defense has been doing it, and the offense is just going to have to get it going and be able to match Bear Lake and their intensity tonight for sure.
Bear Lake on the season averaged 25.2 points per game, allowed 16.9 for a differential of just 8.3 points per game. That's basically one score, right? One possession. For Westside, the story's a little different. 43.1 points per game for this Pirates team. They're only allowing 8.4 points per game. That's a differential of 34.7 points per game, and really they can beat you a number of different ways.
Yeah, the Westside Pirates have a ton of weapons. 3 or 4 guys that can run the ball, and ISU, Idaho State commit Briar Shirtliff through the air as well. So you have Cage Brokens, you have Plancarte and Parker Henderson too. So really can get it done all over.
And we talked about the hot starts that Westside gets off to. Last week they played Grangeville in the quarterfinal round. It was their playoff opener after receiving a first-round bye. They won 48-8. Grangeville got the opening kickoff. First pass of the game was intercepted by Easton Henderson. And on the very first offensive play for Westside, they went up top, Blaze Brown to Bryler Shirtliff, and the route was on from there. Cage Brokens only carried the ball 3 times, had about 80 yards on the ground, and 5 different Westside players came away with an interception last week as well. We talk about the offense, but this Westside defense is also very talented.
Yeah, the linebackers are quick. They shut down the edges. Running against the Westside Pirates is very difficult to establish because they get in there quick, and they also bring the pressure on the QB very quick.
So it's a rivalry showdown. Somebody going to advance to the 2A championship game after tonight's semifinal battle. It is the 7-3 Bear Lake Bears, the 9-0 Westside Pirates. When we come back from the break, the opening kickoff and the opening to semifinal weekend here in the state of Idaho. We'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to the 2021 Idaho High School football postseason and the 2A semifinals on IdahoSports.com.
The Westside School District has maintained the same conservative annual levy since 2004. This rate of $185 per student tax rate is 10 times less than the state of Idaho average, which is $2,000 per student. Now, this has been possible because of generous donors, as well as the school district being able to utilize sound financial practices. Now, even with this low tax rate, the district has completed 7 major construction projects and has also been able to achieve and maintain some of the highest academic test scores in the entire state.
Dear Detour, You took us off-road on the gnarliest trails. You asked us to measure up. So yeah, we did. When life slings you mud, sling it right back. Stay strong, Toyota trucks.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
I'm Dr. Christine Hahn. I'm an infectious disease doctor, and I'm Idaho's medical director for public health. It's my mission to keep our communities healthy and safe. That's why I believe every Idahoan should get their COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine's been tested. It's proving to be very safe, and it's the most effective tool we have to stop the spread.
Walk into a pharmacy or visit covidvaccine.idaho.gov to find your free COVID-19 vaccine.
Welcome back to Lyle Henderson Field in Dayton, home of this 2A semifinal showdown. The Bear Lake Bears, the number.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Welcome back to Lyle Henderson Field in Dayton. Brandon Bainey alongside Sean Kane as we get ready for a 2A semifinal showdown. The Bear Lake Bears and the West Side Pirates. Say what you will about the Max Preps rankings, Sean, but the top 4 seeds are all playing in the semifinals.
Yeah, as I was looking at the bracket, I noticed that the top 4 seeds, number 1 versus number 4, or number 4 tonight here with West Side and Bear Lake, and then you get North Fremont and Firth on the other side, the 2 and the 3. So, yeah, it's panned out here in the 2A.
And district rivals we talked about, we are, of course, in the West Side section right next to their pep band. But across the way is the Bear Lake fans. They brought their pep band tonight as well, and this is really what high school football is all about.
Yeah, there's a lot of Bear Lake fans here. They've made their way for the semifinal. They've been here before since being a conference opponent, and yeah, just great atmosphere, everyone ready to go. And I love the West Side Band always plays the Pirates of the Caribbean, being the Pirates, it's always fun.
Always fun to hear the pep band. So Bear Lake will receive to start the game, which I've said is a good thing. You want that opening drive, and you want to score on that opening drive so you can dictate the tempo. If you fall behind West Side 7-0, it almost feels like a 14-0 deficit with the way they're so efficient offensively. So West Side in the maroon jerseys, maroon pants, white stripes down the side, white letters and numbers, black trim around them. Bear Lake in the white jerseys, white pants, gray on the shoulders. It is blue letters and numbers, gray trim around them. They've got gray helmets. West Side in the maroon helmets. Bryler Shirtliff will kick off for the Pirates. And back deep to return for Bear Lake is Brady Shaw. Actually, looks like Tyler Beersford. He'll stand at his own 2-yard line. Bear Lake will be working left to right here in this opening quarter of action, and the 2A semifinals are underway. Shirtliff's kick goes through the back of the end zone for a touchback, and now it'll be 1st and 10 for the Bear Lake Bears working left to right.
Yeah, and like you said, Brandon, I think it's going to be important for Bear Lake to set the tone offensively to start with, just because we know West Side is so efficient offensively. So, I'd look for Bear Lake to really get it going early.
It will be 1st and 10 for Bear Lake, starting from their own 20-yard line here. Tayson Neal out of a shotgun formation. He's got 2 backs on his right hip. They will start with a counter play off the right side. A gain of only a yard. On the carry is Beersford. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Yeah, and like we talked about, you have Beersford, you have Allman, and Matthews. All 3 kind of run the ball for Bear Lake. So you'll kind of have 3 different runners back there for them.
Second down and 9 for Bear Lake. 11:30 to play, opening quarter in this 2A semifinal. Same formation, two backs to the left side of Neal. They'll run off tackle left side this time, banging into a guy and trying to bounce it outside, and picking up a couple on the run is Alex Alleman for the first time tonight. Alleman, the senior, and see where they spot this at. It's going to be a gain of 3. It'll be third down and 7 now for the Bear Lake Bears.
And he's kind of Bear Lake's lead runner. He's attempted the most runs and averages about 5.4 per carry. So he's kind of the main back, but they give it to all 3.
Third and 7 for Bear Lake from their own 23-yard line. Neal back to pass, throwing to the sideline. That is caught right at the sticks for the first down. A gain of 8 out on the perimeter, and on the reception for the Bears is Bryson Crane. He has really come on in this postseason for Bear Lake.
Yeah, I believe he was the receiver that caught a touchdown late in the playoff game, right?
Yes, last week.
Yeah, so he has been very crucial. You can tell he's kind of a tall, big target out there.
So a 7-yard gain on 3rd and 7 makes it 1st and 10 for Bear Lake from their own 30. 10:20 to play in the opening quarter of action. Neal out of a shotgun, 3 receivers left, single receiver to the right. It's a pitch out on the left side, and picking up 4 yards on the carry that time off the left side is Blake Matthews. So Matthews picks up 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7 for Bear Lake. And I think this is what a lot of teams try to do against Westside, right? Control the clock. We're already down to 9:50 to play in the opening quarter.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, what we've seen through the regular season. But, yeah, Bear Lake, a good start, just good time of possession and controlling the ball.
Shotgun pitch out right side again. This is Beersford on the call, and he's brought down in the backfield. Leading the charge that time for Westside, Parker Henderson. That lost 3 yards, and it's now 3rd and 10.
And just like that, kind of what Westside's done all year is they can come up with a big play in the defense, kind of just closing down that edge and getting a loss on the tackle.
3rd and 10 now for Bear Lake from their own 30. 9:10 to play, opening quarter, no score. Neal back to pass. Westside bringing the heat. Throw is over the head of Brady Shaw on the near sideline. It's 4th down. Miscommunication that time. Shaw stopped about 4 yards shy of the first down marker, and Neal threw it at the first down stick.
Yeah, the ball was in the right place, but the receiver was not.
And so 4th down, Bear Lake will come out to punt. It will be Jordan Garbett to punt away. Bryler Shirtliff and Easton Shirtliff back deep to return for the Pirates. They stand at their own 35. Here's the kick. That is a good high boomer across the 50 and will be downed at the 44-yard line of Westside. So 1st and 10 now for the Pirates. They're working right to left here in this opening half.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we'll have to see from Bear Lake now, is because a lot of teams, if you don't get something going on that first drive, it's very dangerous when Westside gets the ball. You don't want to give up anything big here, and that's what I'd watch out for if I was Bear Lake.
1st and 10 for the Pirates from their own 45. 8:58 to play here in our opening quarter of action. And Westside will break the huddle and send 2 receivers to the left. Wingback Plancarte to the right as they line up in that wing T formation here on 1st down. Blaze Brown under center at quarterback. Cage Brokens lines up as the fullback. Man in motion is Plancarte. They will start with a handoff to Brokens up the middle, breaking tackles. The 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, into the end zone for a Westside touchdown. How about that for a start? A 65-yard run to pay dirt for Cage Brokens.
Yeah, just kind of what I was worried about, but Westside's done it all year. Cage Brokens breaks that first kind of level of the defense, and he is hard to bring down after that. You've got to gain and tackle him for sure.
So a 65-yard touchdown run for Brokens, and now it's Plancarte on for the point after try. Snap down, hold down. That kick is barely through. Just snuck over the crossbar, and it is 7-0 Westside with all of the fireworks and everything as well. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Rain in Style. Proud to be a sponsor of all high school sports. Rain in Style provides custom alternatives to make you and your animal stand out in a crowd. Use coupon code IdahoSports with your order and get 10% off now. Whether you need collars or leashes for your dog, beautiful colorful tack for your horse, or a cool gift or decor item for you, Rain in Style can help you out. Conveniently located in Boise, and products are custom made to your needs. Log on to raininstyle.com. Grab life by the reins and play hard tonight. Tonight's game also brought to you by Gary Tusher CPA. Need help with bookkeeping, personal and business tax returns, or payroll? The folks at Gary Tusher CPA are ready to help you. Call 208-847-2601 for an appointment, or visit their website at garytcpa.com. See Gary in Montpelier at 110 North 8th Street. Gary Tusher and his staff are a proud supporter of Bear Lake Athletics. Good luck this weekend, boys. So 8:48 to play in the first quarter of action. And a 7-0 West Side lead thanks to the 65-yard touchdown run by Cage Brokens. And now it's Bear Lake after the touchback through the back of the end zone. 1st and 10 again from their own 20. Moved the ball decently well on the opening drive. Really got forced into a 3rd and long situation, and then they had to punt.
Yeah, that miscommunication on the pass really just kind of shut that drive down, and they had to punt. And like we said, you just don't want to give the ball to West Side, and you want to control the ball as much as you can on the offensive side.
1st and 10. Neal fakes the toss. Now pump fakes the pass. Rolling out right side on the run, firing over the middle. It is in and out of the hands at the 35-yard line. Incomplete. Intended receiver Jordan Garbett. 2nd and 10.
Nice play by Neal to get away from the pressure and make something happen. Just unfortunate the receiver dropped the pass.
That makes it 2nd down and 10. And again, yeah, you mentioned it. Nice pocket awareness by Neal that time. And Garbett was open at the 35. Would have been a 1st down, but instead it is a dropped pass. And 2nd and 10 for the Bears. 2 backs on the right hip of Neal out of the shotgun here. 2 receivers to the right side. Neal looking that way. Floats it in the flat. Too high. Incomplete. Intended receiver Tyler Beersford in the flat. It's 3rd and 10. Quickly.
Yeah, very quick. And the thing with incomplete passes is you're not taking any time off the clock, and that's a hard game plan when you're going against this tough West Side team.
8:38 to play, opening quarter, 7-0 West Side lead on just one offensive play so far, right?
Yep. Efficient. I was going to say they are one of the most efficient teams I've seen all year in any classification.
Certainly. 65-yard touchdown run by Cage Brokens. You can hear the West Side student section making some noise here on 3rd and 10. For Bear Lake from their own 20. Neal back to pass. West Side rushes 4. A sliding grab is made. A yard shy of the 1st down marker on the near sideline. That is Jordan Garbett making up for the dropped pass as he made a sliding grab for a gain of 9, but they needed 10. It's 4th down, and it looks like Bear Lake will come out and punt again.
Yeah, that's just tough. I'm always on that you've got to get that pass just a little beyond that 1st down marker. If you go just short of it and hoping that your receiver is going to get an extra yard, it's just tough.
Yeah. So 4th down, Garbett will punt here for Bear Lake. High kick will take a bounce at the 40. We'll take a West Side bounce, and we'll be down at the 44-yard line by Brady Shull. So 1st and 10 for West Side again as they get to work here on offense. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Bear Lake Furniture Company. Bear Lake Furniture Company carries Ashley Furnishings and Mattresses, Home Elegance, 5-star mattresses, Maloof bedding, and more. They strive to provide the highest quality available to make your house a home, all at a price you can afford. Owners Emily and Jason Schwarting are proud supporters of Bear Lake Athletics. Stop in and visit them at 1000 Washington Street in Montpelier, or give them a call at 208-847-1301. Bear Lake Furniture Company, brand name furniture, always on sale. Handoff to Cage Brokens on 1st and 10 from the 43, across the 45 to the 46, a gain of 3. That's going to hurt the average.
Well, not if he only has 3, right? Maybe he only has one more carry for the rest of the night, and it's another touchdown.
They shut him down after 3 carries last week against Grangeville because, well, they didn't need him.
What did you? He was like 3 for 85
yeah,
last week.
Something like that.
Man.
Second down and 8 now for Westside at their own 45-yard line. Plancarte in motion right to left. He'll get the carry. Sweeping off the left edge across the 50 and brought down out of bounds on the near sideline. Nice job taking him down by Bear Lake's Jake Smith. And it will be 3rd and inches now for the Pirates. Or no, they'll say a first down.
Nope, yep, first down.
So a gain of 9, we'll call that, on the carry that time by Christian Plancarte. And he's really the speed back in this offense. You know, we think of Brokens as the speedy guy, but really his long touchdown runs come on like broken tackles and things like that. Plancarte is really the speedster of this West Side backfield.
And he's always in motion.
Yes, he's the wingback that always comes in motion. 1st and 10 for West Side from the 46-yard line of Bear Lake. Brown out of a shotgun, now shifts everybody around, and he'll go back up under center with split backs behind him, Moser and Brokens. Plancarte in motion left to right. 6:40 and counting, opening quarter of action. Brown will take the snap. Hand off right side to Parker Moser, and Moser off the right edge gains about 3. And on the stop for Bear Lake, Peyton Uxenbein.
Yeah, so Westside kind of settling in here and doing what they do, right? Kind of 3 or 4 yards and then a 7-yard run, just little different runs, and kind of giving Bear Lake a lot of different looks tonight on the line. They're moving people around, putting people in motion, and yeah, kind of some different looks from Westside here late in the season.
2nd and 7 for the Pirates from the 43-yard line of Bear Lake. 6 minutes to play, first quarter. High snap over Brown's head. He doesn't fall on it. Instead, it's one of the backs for Westside who falls on it back at their own 45-yard line. Brown fell short, and Bear Lake was about ready to recover that fumble. I believe it was Cage Brokens who finally fell on top of it for the Pirates.
Yeah, Brown was kind of on his knees, kind of scraping at it and couldn't quite get there, and Cage Brokens just jumped on it, on the ball.
That is a loss of 16. Loss of 11 for Brokens, who officially fell on it. So 3rd down and 19 for Westside. Brown back to pass. Penalty flag flies. Rolling out right side on the run, throwing deep for Shirtliff. It's caught at the 35, the 20, the 10, the 5, into the end zone for a touchdown. But let's see what that penalty flag was on the far side. Boy, Bryler Shirtliff just went up and caught it with 2 defenders around him. And I think this touchdown's going to come back for Westside. Pep-Band doesn't care, but we'll have to.
False start.
Yeah, false start against Westside. So they threw that flag right as the ball was snapped.
But an amazing catch there by Bryler. That was pretty sweet.
We've talked about this a bunch this year. Even though it's not an official play, go ahead and put that one on the highlight reel.
Yeah, you put that on the huddle or whatever, Put that in there. Maybe don't put what happened after it. But, yeah, that was 2 defenders jumped up. You could see why he plays basketball as well. He had a good vertical leap there.
So instead of 3rd and 19, now it's 3rd and 24 for Westside. Ball all the way back at their own 40. They have to get to the Bear Lake 36 to pick up this first down. We're down to 5:13 to play in the opening quarter. A 7-0 Pirates lead. Brown under center again. Wing T formation. Can he hook up with Shirtliff again? Rolling out right side. Bear Lake bringing the pressure. Brown will throw. It's complete to Shirtliff at the 45-yard line of Bear Lake. So a gain of 15, but still 4th down.
Yeah, I can't believe how open Shirtliff was there. Kind of just nice route run there, got open. And that was always been the question mark, right? Can Westside throw it in long 3rd down situations? And so far, they've been able to do it. I mean, obviously, they've been able to put the points, but been impressed with the ability to throw it by Brown.
And look at this, 4th and 9 for Westside, and they're going to line up and go for it here. 4th and 9, ball at the Bear Lake 44-yard line. Brown under center, Plancarte in motion left to right. It's a double handoff. Moser trying to find the edge on the left side. He's got blockers. The 35, the 30, the 25, the 20. Cuts back into the 15 and down inside the 10 for Westside, first down.
Just nice cut back there. They reversed it. Westside did, and Moser was able to break free and Man, I don't know, Brandon. He might be the speedster. he was moving pretty good.
So Parker Moser, a sophomore, the son of head coach Tyson Moser.
Yeah.
He's definitely the future, right? Instead of Brokens, Moser's the guy we're going to be calling all next year, although he's already making a huge impact at the varsity level. A 38-yard run there on 4th and 9 makes it 1st and goal from the 7. Brown, handoff to Moser, left side, trying to skip his way out of a tackle, but cannot. That is Tayson Neal, the quarterback and linebacker, bringing down Moser for no gain on the play.
Yeah, Neal, he's the quarterback, and he also leads the team in sacks, so I always find that pretty interesting. You're right, the quarterback leads the team in sacks.
Definitely. So it will be 2nd and goal for Westside from the 7. 3:30 to play in our opening quarter of action. Pirates already on top 7-0. Brown lines up in the wing T formation. Will hand off right side to Moser, and again stood up. Couple of Bear Lake Bears in there. Looked like the first guy blowing things up was Tyler Burbank, the junior, and then Brady Shaw kind of finished it off. A gain of just 2 on that carry for Moser, and it's 3rd and goal from the 5.
Yeah, Bear Lake's got a pretty big physical front line, and they're doing a good job here. I mean, you had Westside 3rd and 24, and you just got to be thinking, what do we got to do to stop these guys?
Yeah, I mean, Bear Lake is small in terms of the roster size, right? Not a lot of guys on the sideline, but they're all big, big, tall, strong dudes. 3rd and goal from the 5. Brown under center, wing T. Handoff to Brokens, right side. And Brokens is brought down around the 2. Again, Bear Lake surging through. It looked like Alex Alleman was the first guy in on the tackle. Brings up a 4th and goal for Westside from the 2.
And if you're Bear Lake, man, this is, I mean, you're out of it yet, but it's a win for your defense for holding them here pretty tough on the goal line, I think.
It all depends on this 4th down play, right? You hold them on 4th down, that's a huge victory for the Bear Lake defense. 4th and goal from the 2 for Westside. Brown will line up under center. Brokens, the fullback behind him in the wing T. Now they'll flank Brokens out into the slot on the left side. Brown maybe trying to get Bear Lake to jump. Will hand off to Plancarte on a sweep, and he dives for the end zone, and he got in for the touchdown. It was close, but Plancarte dove for it and got it. He was in motion right to left. They gave it to Plancarte on the sweep, and he's in for the touchdown.
Yeah, Bear Lake just nearly had him. It was close. Plancarte just kind of flipped his body over the line there. Nice move.
Yeah, almost like somersaulted into the end zone. It's a 2-yard touchdown run for Christian Plancarte, and he'll line up and kick it as well. And his kick is through to make it 14-0 Westside with 1:39 to play here in the opening quarter of action. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Cliff Stokes Plumbing, serving the Cache Valley for 10 years. Cliff has over 35 years of experience in the plumbing industry, so whether it's a new install, a repair, a water heater change out, or maybe time for an upgrade, call the experts at Cliff Stokes Plumbing at 435-770-8251. Cliff Stokes Plumbing wants to wish the Westside boys good luck in the state playoffs. Tonight's game also brought to you by D&T Electric. D&T Electric Heating and Cooling is the proud supporter of Westside Athletics and wants to wish the boys good luck at state. And tonight's game also brought to you by UNI Furniture. They'd like to wish the Westside boys good luck at state. The U is for Utah and the I is for Idaho, and they offer complete home furnishings, appliances, and flooring products that are up to date, and they commit to giving you the best buy at UNI. Go Pirates from UNI Furniture. Breiler Shirtlift line drive kick this time will be bounced off the chest and fielded on a hop at the 15 by Brady Shull. Shull started right, worked back to the left. A penalty flag comes out as Shull returns it to the 21-yard line. So we'll see what the call is here.
The referee double threw it. Make sure the other, I think the headlinesman saw it.
It looks like it's against Bear Lake. Chop block. And a chop block, of course, outlawed now in all forms. That's where you dive below the knees for the guy you're trying to block.
So that's going to back Bear Lake up here.
That hurts.
Yeah.
That's a bad penalty. 1st and 10 for the Bears, now starting at their own 11-yard line. Tayson Neal will start out of the shotgun with 2 backs on his left hip, 2 receivers out to the left side of the formation as well. Quarterback sweep for Neal, bangs into the line and picks up a yard, maybe 2. First guy in there on the stop for the Westside Pirates that time was Parker Henderson. So a gain of 2 on the run for Neal makes it 2nd and 8 for the Bears from their own 13. We're down to 1:10 to play here in our opening quarter of action.
And I was thinking back, when Westside played Soda Springs, the quarterback was kind of successful from Soda Springs when he was kind of moving it around, and maybe that's what Bear Lake will have to do, is maybe have some quarterback designed runs or give him the option to either run it or throw it. But that seemed to give Westside a little trouble.
It did. I remember that game well. Pitch out to the left side. Beersford on the carry, and Beersford strung out for no gain. And now we've got a officials timeout. It'll be 2nd down and 8, actually 3rd down and 8 for Bear Lake. And there's a penalty against Bear Lake.
It looks like the flag was on the far side of the field.
Was that a delay of game penalty? It looked like a delay of game penalty, but
didn't seem to be that much time had really went by, but
maybe it was like he threw the ball, or didn't give it back to the official right away. I'm assuming that's what happened there.
Okay.
As Beersford didn't gain anything, and in fact, they lost 5 yards on the penalty. So 3rd and 14, Neal going to sling it over the middle. That's caught in stride at the 20-yard line, awfully close to the first down marker. Beersford makes the catch on the slant. It looks like it's going to be 4th and inches here for Bear Lake. Well, now let's see. They may tell him to move the sticks. It'll be the end of the first quarter as well, so we think it's going to be 4th and inches for Bear Lake when we start the second quarter here in just a couple of moments. It is 14-0 Westside, the lead, though, after a quarter of play. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Brolam's Supermarket, a proud supporter of the Bear Lake Bears. Your hometown supermarket serving the freshest foods with friendly service. Brolam's is home to hand-cut meats, homemade sausage, fresh salads, and meals made simple, as well as cookies like your mom makes. Also remember their convenient drive-through pharmacy located at 130 South 4th Street in Montpelier. Brolam's Fresh Foods have been serving southeastern Idaho for 80 years. Go Bears. Also, Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. They offer a wide array of services, including physicians' clinics, emergency care, home health, dialysis, physical therapy, orthopedic surgery, weight loss surgery, and much, much more. To get more information, visit blmhospital.com or call 208-847-1630 today. Bear Lake Memorial Hospital is a proud supporter of Bear Lake Athletics. Good luck, boys. So here we go, start of the second quarter. It will be 4th down and inches for the Bear Lake Bears. From their own 20-yard line, they've got to get to the 21. Handoff up the middle, picking up the first down. The ball came out at the end, though. They never ruled him down, and it's recovered by Westside at the 19-yard line by Breiler Shirtlift. Wow.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, Bear Lake has the first down, and they're just holding him up, and the ball comes out, and Sherlift is just in the right spot. There's no one else there.
Beersford picked up the first down. You know, he got 4 yards on that 4th and 1, and like you said, he just kind of stood up, I think almost waiting for the whistle to blow. It didn't. That ball got punched out, and Breiler Shirtlift recovers the fumble for Westside with 11:53 to play here before halftime.
And now Westside just has excellent field position as well.
1st and 10, Blaze Brown under center. Play action pass, rolling out left side, throwing off his back foot. It's caught in stride by Shirtlift into the end zone on the far side for a Westside touchdown from 18 yards out. $20-0 Pirates.
Wow, just what a crazy change of events. Bear Lake looks to get that first down on 4th and 1, and one play later, Westside already has another score.
This is the danger of falling behind against this Westside team. They cash in on almost every single drive, it seems like.
Yeah, that would be an interesting stat. What's their drive efficiency? It seems like they score every time as the extra point is blocked.
So Bear Lake gets through and blocks the extra point, and the score remains 20-0 in favor of the Westside Pirates with 11:45 to play here before halftime.
Yeah, that's just tough for Bear Lake. They've got to quickly, though, regroup here, and I think they've really got to mount something offensively here on this drive to kind of get back in the game.
Certainly. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Schaub Matthews Mortuary as they work with families to celebrate and honor the life of loved ones. Schwab Matthews Mortuary provides services offering personalized burial vaults and caskets, horse-drawn hearse, audio and transcribed recordings of funerals, pre-arranged funeral plans, and headstone design. Having 2 licensed funeral directors, Chad Walker, Bear Lake County coroner and licensed mortician, and Dane Schwab, owner and licensed mortician, Schwab Matthews Mortuary and staff will continue to provide superior funeral service to members of all faiths. Visit them on the web at matthewsmortuaryinc.com or call them at 208-847-0451. Matthews Mortuary is a proud supporter of Bear Lake Athletics. Good luck, boys. Breiler Shirtlift to kick off again for the Westside Pirates. Shaw and Beersford back deep to return, and Shaw will take it at the 13-yard line. Actually, Beersford up the far sideline across the 40, and a good return out to the 41-yard line. Maybe this is the spark that Bear Lake needs, down 20-0 with 11:39 to play before halftime.
Yeah, nice there. Beersford came up from, I don't know, about the 10 with a full steam of head to grab that ball and get going, and I like it. Kind of taking the bull by the horns there to get the Bear Lake offense going.
So you feel like this is they actually say he stepped out of bounds back at the 37. Regardless,
okay. He's still out
good.
of there a little bit, right?
You feel like this is kind of a must-score drive here for the Bears.
Yeah, like I said, they got to get something going, and they've just got to get it across the 50, I think, just for some field positioning.
1st and 10, Neal, the curl route complete at the 45-yard line, and picking up 11 on the play, and a first down on the far side. That's a good completion to Garbett, and Jordan Garbett makes the reception for a gain of 11, and a 1st and 10 for Bear Lake. Ball now at the 48-yard line of Westside. Or excuse me, their own 48-yard line. 11:15 to play before halftime. Bear Lake working right to left here in this second quarter of action.
And that's the first down Bear Lake's had since their opening drive, so that's big.
4 wide, draw play, right side. This is Alleman across the 45, across the 40, and down to the Westside 38-yard line. That's a gain of 14 and a first down.
And just kind of like we said, Bear Lake getting it going here offensively. They need to. They have to get something going here, and they're doing it.
That was a nice play that time. Spread him out 4 wide, draw play to Alex Alleman. It's now 1st and 10 for Bear Lake. Ball at the west side 38-yard line. 10:40 to play before halftime. And off to Alleman again, crashing off the left side. And crashing right into Westside's Aaron McDaniel. He's a really good sophomore defensive lineman, 250 pounds. He's been a real nice addition to this Pirates defense this year. Alleman is able to pick up 2 to make it 2nd and 8.
And that's, I think, what Bear Lake's going to need is good balance. The last 2 games they've had good balance running and passing, and I think to be able to compete and beat a Westside team, you've got to be balanced. You can't just be a one-trick pony.
2nd down and 8. Handoff out of the gun. This is Blake Matthews. Matthews takes it across the 30 and is met at the 25-yard line, where he will pick up 10 yards and a 1st down.
And the one thing I'm noticing, too, is Bear Lake is running the plays a lot quicker. And teams that have had a little bit of success against Westside is they get going and they run the plays quick and don't give Westside a chance to settle in on defense. And I think that up-tempo is really helping Bear Lake right now.
1st and 10 for the Bears. Ball at the Westside 25-yard line with 9:45 to play before halftime. Leading 20-0. Two receivers either side. Neal out of the shotgun. It will be a handoff right side for Blake Matthews. Broke the first couple of tackles and ends up picking up 3 yards off the right side. A penalty flag comes flying in at the end as well. You assume this is going to be a personal foul. We'll see.
Yeah, it was kind of the same thing. The Westside defenders were kind of holding them up after, kind of the whistle blew there.
They will call this a personal foul against Westside. Yep, you called it. I think they are playing to the whistle and occasionally maybe just slightly beyond the whistle, right?
Well, yeah, you can see that, Westside's coach did do that, slam the ball out of the hand.
Right.
They're wrapping them up and trying to cause a fumble as well, and sometimes it happens after the whistle.
Well,
it just happens as it's developing.
One time they did that, it led to a fumble. One time they did, it led to a penalty. I think Coach Moser will take the trade-off.
Yeah, and 7 points.
1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. Handoff to Blake Matthews, looking for the edge on the right side. He slipped and fell at the 10. It'll be a gain of just a yard. 2nd and 9.
I've seen a couple Bear Lake players slip tonight, so something to kind of keep an eye out on.
8:50 to play here before halftime, and they'll say officially no yards gained on that play. I thought he at least got to the 10, but it'll be 2nd and 10 for Bear Lake. Ball at the Westside 11, 8:40 to play before halftime. Down 20-0. You feel like they've got to cash in here.
Yeah, you've got the offensive rolling. It's time to get some points on the board.
Two receivers either side. Neal back to pass, feeling the heat. Now will take off and run across the 10, across the 5, into the end zone on the left side for a Bear Lake touchdown. And the Bears are on the board. It comes on a scrambled play as the pocket collapsed. Neal took off and ran it 10 yards for the touchdown.
And that's kind of the only thing I've seen Westside kind of struggle with is when a mobile quarterback can kind of get out and break it out and also can throw it well, so you kind of have to stay home. And Neal showed he can take it to the house.
Bear Lake will line up and go for 2 here. Neal out of a shotgun formation. Matthews on his right hip. Two receivers bunched in tight on the right. Shaw in motion, left to right. He'll get it on the jet sweep. It's going to be a pass. Shaw into the end zone. It is caught for the 2-point conversion. On the far side, Garbett off the wide receiver pass from Brady Shaw. That was a nice 2-point play there. Shaw went in motion left to right out of the slot. They gave him the ball on the jet sweep, and then he pulled up and threw it to the back corner of the end zone on the right side to Jordan Garbett. And it is 20-8 now. Bear Lake on the board, and that was a big drive for them, Sean.
Yeah, that was a great play. Both Shaw and Garbett were in like full running, full sprint to the sideline and just hooked up, and that was nice. And I think that's what Bear Lake needed. They controlled some of the clock there too and didn't give up any field position and got a score. And hopefully now the defense can come out and try to find a way to disrupt the Westside offense, which they just just haven't been able to.
Yep, now they've got to get a stop defensively. Tonight's game brought to you by Preston Auto Parts. For over 20 years, Preston Auto Parts has been serving the folks in Preston and the surrounding area with the best auto parts and customer service around. Preston Auto Parts is an independent CarQuest dealer and proudly supports Westside Athletics. Preston Auto Parts wants to wish the boys good luck in the state semifinals tonight. So for the first time tonight, Bear Lake will kick off. And doing the honors is Toby Flake, a sophomore. Back deep to return for the Pirates, Cage Brokens, along with Hayden Robinson. Here's the kick. It's a line drive taken by Brokens at the 15 after he bobbled at the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35. Still going. Ball came out at the end. And they'll say that Brokens was already down on the play. Bear Lake thought they had recovered a fumble, but they'll say that Brokens was down at the 39-yard line before the ball came out. So 1st and 10 for Westside.
Yeah, that was close. And Brokens kind of bobbled it when he went to catch the kickoff too, so maybe just never had it quite secure.
To be fair, he hasn't returned many kicks this year because, well, Westside just doesn't give up many points.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think back the last time they got a kickoff. It was a while ago.
Yeah, I mean, at the very end of the game last week, Grangeville scored, but inconsequential. 1st and 10 for Westside from their own 39, working left to right in this second quarter. Handoff up the middle to Broken, spinning like a top for a gain of 3. The first guy in there to make contact for Bear Lake defensively was one of the linebackers, Jake Smith. Gain of 3 for Cage Brokens. You know, talking to, or Coach Tyson Moser talked to the Herald Journal from Logan, Utah, that covers Westside locally. And he said, you know, really, I didn't want to play Bear Lake in the quarterfinals. Yeah, we beat them once already, but I'd rather face a new opponent that we haven't seen and they haven't seen us. Weird things can happen when you play a conference rival.
It's always hard to beat a team more than once, right?
Absolutely. Play action. Brown going to sling it in the flat. That's caught by Henderson at the 40, the 45, and brought down at the 49-yard line. That should be enough for a first down. They threw it in the flat that time to the wingback, Parker Henderson, and they will say move the chains.
Yeah, you know, Westside didn't have too much trouble against Bear Lake, but that was, you know, at the end of September, a lot of time has passed. Bear Lake's teams change, Westside's teams change, and I understand why you would want to see another opponent.
1st and 10 for Westside from their own 49-yard line. Brown under center, split backs behind him. Plancarte in motion right to left. They will hand off to Brokens. Penalty flag comes out, and Bear Lake meets Brokens right at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Tayson Neal charging in to make the stop, and we'll see what the call is here. It's going to be an illegal shift against Westside. Back it up 5 yards.
And you can see why late on the season Bear Lake's been so effective is that front line of Bear Lake's defense is pretty good at stopping the run, and they're big and they're lengthy, and they're able to get that first kind of initial hit or tackle on the running back. And I tell you, with Cage Brokens, if you don't hit him early, he's gone.
Yeah, and it usually takes a couple of guys to bring him down as well. 1st and 15 now for Westside from their own 45-yard line. 6:25 and counting before halftime, and Westside leading 20-8 over Bear Lake here in the 2A semifinals. Somebody moving on to the 2A state championship game next weekend. Brown under center, split backs behind him. Receiver to either side. Brown, quick toss off the right side. Parker Moser will be brought down after a gain of 5. I thought Garbett was going to have a shot at him right at the line of scrimmage, but Moser shook it off and was able to pick up 4. Well, they'll call it 5 right to the 50 to make it 2nd and 10.
Yeah, so just back to the original line of scrimmage.
5:45 to play before halftime. 2nd and 10 for the Pirates. Ball right at the 50-yard line. A 20-8 Westside lead as well.
Just kind of get a sense like Bear Lake wants to come up with a big defensive play or stop here before halftime.
Brown under center, split backs behind him. 2nd and 10. Fullback dive this time to Brokens, and he'll stretch it out for a gain of 4. Brokens first tripped up on the play by Bear Lake's Ethan Thornton. junior defensive tackle. And it'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Pirates.
If you're a defense, this is probably best case scenario when you're playing Westside is maybe a 3rd and long, 3rd and 7. I mean, so if you're Bear Lake, this is an opportunity right here.
I have a feeling that this is 2-down territory for Westside.
That's
regardless.
true, too.
They're very aggressive on going for it
Yeah.
on 4th down. Brown under center, wing T formation, 4:50 to play before the half. It is a bootleg pass, rolling out right side. Brown throws off his back foot. It is caught by Parker Moser at the 35-yard line of Bear Lake for a 1st down. That is a gain of 12. And again, Brown, sometimes I don't know how he sees it because he's falling backwards off his back foot a lot of times, and that time threw it right on the money to Parker Moser.
And Parker Moser isn't a huge guy out there either. He's kind of weaving in and out of the defenders, how he just sees them. I don't know.
1st and 10 for Westside. Ball at the Bear Lake 35-yard line. 4:30 to play before halftime, leading 20-8. Brown under center, wing T formation, shirt lift wide to the right. Wing back in motion left to right is Plancarte. He'll get it on the sweep off the right side. And Plancarte brought down after a gain of only a couple. That is a great tackle in the open field by Ethan Thornton. Westside fans wanted a penalty flag for an unnecessary roughness. Thornton was just finishing off the play that time and playing through to the whistle. I mean, Westside on one hand can't do that on defense and then turn around and get mad when somebody does it to them.
No, that's not going to really work out too well that way.
That won't fly. So it is a gain of 4 on the carry for Plancarte that time off the right side to make it 2nd and 6 for Westside from the Bear Lake 32. Brown lining up under center with the wing T formation. Brokens is the fullback. They'll hand off on a counter play right side. Parker Moser hurdles a defender to the 20 and knocked out of bounds just shy of the 15. Parker Moser ripping off the yardage for a 1st down. See where they put this at. They're going to put it right at the 20-yard line, so a gain of 12 for Parker Moser.
And kind of an underrated, or not underrated, but kind of under-talked about is Westside's offensive line.
Yes.
They're super good. They get out and make the blocks. They're patient. They don't just run full head steam into the defensive line. I've been impressed with the offensive line.
Angel Montano, one of the leaders up front. 1st and 10, handoff to Moser left side, and a big collision right at the 10-yard line. We'll see if he got enough for the 1st down as he carried it off the left side that time. They will call it 2nd down and 2 with the ball at the 11. So Moser gets 8. With 3 minutes to play before halftime, Westside leading 20-8. 2nd down and a long one here for Westside. Ball is at the 11-yard line of Bear Lake. Brown under center, wing T. Brokens the fullback. They will fake the handoff, back to pass. Brown throws a dart over the middle. It is dropped by Bryler Shirtliff at the goal line. Or excuse me, not Bryler Shirtliff. That was the tight end that time, Jacob Stokes. Boy, Brown just fired a missile in there, and Stokes couldn't hang on.
Yeah, he was a little, Stokes a little surprised at the pepper on that ball.
Well, and, Stokes is a guy that, gets a grab here and there. He's not like hugely involved in the passing game.
No, he's really good at blocking.
Yeah.
On the edge, man. He opens it up.
He's a good tight end for this Westside offense. 3rd and 2 now for the Pirates. From the Bear Lake 11, Brown under center, Plancarte in motion left to right, hand off up the middle. Ball came out. And Bear Lake thinks they have recovered. And they do.
Wow.
Bear Lake recovers the fumble at the 10-yard line. It's Tyler Burbank who comes out of it for the Bears. That's a huge turnover forced by the Bear Lake defense.
Yeah, I mean, Westside's looking to score here, and halftime drawing near, being down 28-8, but huge play by the defense to come up with a fumble. And, if you have a good 2 minutes and 39 here and get something on the board, you get the ball right back at halftime, and boy, it's a whole new game.
1st and 10 for Bear Lake from their own 9-yard line. Neal out of the shotgun. On 1st down, will hand off right side. Matthews on the carry will take it for a gain of nothing, they'll say, right back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10. And the clock you mentioned, Sean, kind of a factor here. 2:20 to play before halftime. Bear Lake has to kick off for the second half. So Bears head coach Ryan Messerly would love to get points.
Yeah, I think anything would be great at this point.
2nd and 10 for the Bears from their own 10. Neal back to pass, going for the deep ball. It is caught in stride by Crane. Crane at the 35, the 40, and all the way down to the 35-yard line. That's actually Brady Scholl who hauls in that reception all the way to the west side 34-yard line for a first down.
Wow. And Brady Shaw, if he tried to juke someone out, and I'm thinking if he would have just ran, he might have went all the way. He tried to kind of go and do a little inside little move to break free, but I think if he would just kept in stride, he might have went.
That is a 56-yard connection to the west side 33. First down, the play blown dead before it can start. And that's exactly what Bear Lake needed. You know, we talked about it. You look at the resume for Bear Lake. Oh, they won 14-3. Yeah, they won 14-6. Not impressive. They just know how to make plays in crunch time. I mean, we've seen it 3 weeks in a row now where we're getting close to halftime and Bear Lake drives for a touchdown.
Yeah, and those are the game changers, right? A game that might have just been put to bed if Westside scores, and now Bear Lake has just kind of flipped the script on them, and, you know, they've done it the last 2 weeks.
So the 56-yard pass from Neal to Scholl, and then an encroachment penalty against Westside makes it 1st and 5 for the Bears with the ball at the Westside 28-yard line. 1:29 to play before halftime. Neal back to pass. Westside rushing 4 over the middle. It is caught by Matthews at the 19-yard line. The pass was thrown behind him, but actually Beersford on that reception, and Beersford makes the catch at the 19 for a first down. That's a gain of 9, and a timeout taken by Bear Lake, their first of the half.
Yeah, Beersford actually fell down and got back up and got that, so that was a great move by him, man.
And you see it, Bear Lake's got good athletes. You know, they've been a team that everybody's kind of slept on all season long, right? But when you look at their resume, they come in with a 7-3 record. Their 3 losses were to Westside, to Firth, who's playing in the other semifinal tomorrow, and to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is a 4A school. So think of like Pocatello high-sized.
I thought you were going to say North Fremont. I mean, I knew it wasn't, but
right.
it would have made sense.
How fitting would that have been? But they lost to Jackson Hole, Wyoming,
who won state championship, I believe.
So they beat Lyman, Wyoming, which was a defending state champion from Wyoming, and beat them pretty easily. And then they lost to a Jackson Hole team that has only lost like once or twice all year.
Wow.
And one of them was to Pocatello, and we know how good Pocatello is. They're playing in the 4A semifinals tomorrow night. So this is a good Bear Lake team. Don't sleep on these Bears. It's not hibernation season yet.
Just yet.
1st and 10 for Bear Lake. Ball at the west side 20-yard line. Neal with 2 backs on his left side. Back to pass. Slinging. It is too high and nearly intercepted with one hand by Bryler Shirtliff on the near sideline. Instead, incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and Bryler Shirtliff, he wanted that one. He was not happy. He didn't bring it down.
Boy, it was a little high for Beersford. And, you know, Shirtliff is 6'3", good athlete, and he stuck one hand out to try and intercept it, but 2nd out and 10 for Bear Lake. Ball at the west side 20-yard line. Back to pass is Neal. Stepping up, throwing over the middle, throws behind. A penalty flag comes out, though. Christian Plancarte had the coverage on Garbett that time as Garbett was going over the middle around the 5-yard line, and this could be pass interference on west side. We'll see what the call is. It is.
Yep.
Pass interference against the Pirates.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough because Beersford's going he's slipped and the ball's behind him, so the change of direction just a little difficult there.
So let's see where they move this ball to following the penalty. It's going to be down to the 10, where it should be 1st and goal. They got to move the sticks, though. They got to get that corrected. 1:13 to play here before halftime. 20-8, Westside with the lead, but Bear Lake knocking at the door in this 2A semifinal. It's going to be 2nd down and 1, they'll say. They didn't get enough for the first down. Ball at the 11. Neal in the flat. Low pass is caught by Beersford, but he's brought down in the backfield. And now it's 3rd down, and a lot of smack talk being talked by Westside. That was Carson Chugg, who came up to make the tackle on Beersford. And some smack talk at the end. He's quickly pulled back by one of his teammates. Let's talk about it. That pass interference penalty wasn't enough to pick up the first down. It was 2nd and 1. Neal's pass in the flat on the left side to Beersford was low, so he had to turn around and catch it. And because of that, Bear Lake lost 4 yards on that play. It's now 3rd and 5.
Yeah, that's a big change of events. I thought they had the first down on the penalty, so yeah, that's a big change. And Neal has just been a little behind. He's just been a little off to his receivers. He's got to get a little more accurate because the Westside defenders are flying in.
It is a cooler night here in November. Weather-wise, though, it's not too terrible. The wind's blowing a little bit, but sometimes as it gets colder, that ball becomes harder to grip.
Yeah.
Right?
So that accuracy, just a little harder rock.
And to the end zone, incomplete. They were trying to go to Brady Shaw on a fade to the end zone. It looked like the ball might have been tipped as it came out. Either that or Neal put an unusual amount of air under it. Either way, it's an incomplete pass on 4th down, a turnover on downs. And boy, a drive that looks so promising for Bear Lake comes away empty-handed.
Yeah, that's just not what Bear Lake wanted. It was really that pass that went backwards to, really they almost had the first down. But, yeah, Bear Lake's going to wish they got points there. And now they've got to make sure, even though there's 55 seconds is an eternity to Westside sometimes, I think. You've got to be careful.
Well, they still have all 3 timeouts as well, so Brown under center, wing T on 1st down, handoff right side. Parker Moser nowhere to go. Parker Moser met head on that time by Bear Lake's Ethan Thornton. No gain, and I think Westside is content to let the clock run to halftime here, considering they fumbled on their last offensive drive, and they're up 20-8, and they are going to get the ball to start the second half as well. So,
yeah, if you're Bear Lake, you got the fumble, you got the 56-yard pass, you got the big play, you just couldn't get the score, and you just got to be scratching your head.
15 seconds to go before halftime. Westside will run one more play here. Brown will line up under center, wing T, and we'll kneel it. And we'll go to halftime with the Westside Pirates, the number 1 seed, in front of the 4th-seeded Bear Lake Bears here in the semifinals, 20-8. And Westside will get the ball to start the second half as well. So we have reached halftime, which means we'll step aside and pay some bills, and we'll come back and have the halftime show for you right after this break. You're listening to the 2021 Idaho High School Football Playoffs and the 2A State Semifinals on IdahoSports.com.
I can't believe we have to make this commercial.
It's ridiculous.
You'll think it's ridiculous too. Listen to this.
This commercial is about, it's about parents being rude at high school athletic events.
Ridiculous, right?
It gets worse. Studies show more than 75% of new high school officials are quitting because of bad adult behavior.
So now there's a shortage of refs here in Idaho, in almost all sports.
No officials means no more games.
Is that what you want for us?
Come on, parents.
It's time to grow up.
Cheer for your team.
Be proud of your children.
But stop being so ridiculous.
And don't make us run another commercial.
Because we will.
This message presented by the Idaho High School Activities Association and the Idaho Athletic Administrators Association, reminding you to always practice good sportsmanship.
You've heard it before. There is no I in team, but there is an I in dairy. Dairy foods are a great source of protein, which is vital for helping rebuild and repair muscles after exercise, so your body can be at the top of its game at your next competition. So grab some milk, cheese, or yogurt after you work out, train, or play. Yes, it's true. There is no I in team, but there is an I in win. For more help finding your greatness, visit unbottled.com.
It's time to start planning for back to school. That's why I got my kids vaccinated for COVID-19, so they can be protected from COVID when they're back in the classroom. Kids 12 and older can get vaccinated. The vaccines have been researched and tested. They're safe and they work. Getting vaccinated was quick and easy. You can walk into a pharmacy to get one. We got our COVID-19 vaccine, and I hope everyone will choose to get vaccinated too.
Get a free COVID-19 vaccine today. Find a location near you at covidvaccine.idaho.gov.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Dear Exit Strategy, all your pieces are in place. A tranquil lake, a serene sky, an emerald forest, a secret hideout. Thanks for being there just when I need you most. Always Toyota SUVs.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
We're Valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Perform, refuel, recover, repeat. It's the recipe for success in any kind of sport, and dairy can be a key ingredient in every one of those steps. Dairy foods supply your body with high-quality protein to rebuild and repair muscle, carbohydrates to help you refuel, and fluid and electrolytes to help you rehydrate. So your personal recipe for greatness can be perform, win, repeat. For more help finding your greatness, visit unbottled.com.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process, is readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
It is halftime here at Lyle Henderson Field in Dayton, home of the Westside Pirates. Brandon Baney alongside Sean Kane. And at the halftime break, these district rivals, they know each other so well. Westside won the regular season matchup, and they are leading at halftime here in the rematch as well over Bear Lake, 20-8. That was a good first half. Both teams grabbed the momentum at times, and both teams lost the momentum at times.
Yeah, you know, Bear Lake came out pretty strong, but just, you know, Westside has kind of done its thing, the thing they've done all year. The first play of the game is a 65-yard run for a touchdown by Brokens, and, you know, Westside's, first 3 possessions were touchdowns, so they were very efficient, and Bear Lake had some chances and just couldn't capitalize.
Yeah, the game started with Bear Lake receiving the ball. They picked up a first down, and you thought, okay, here's this Bear Lake offense. They're going to move it down the field. Well, the drive stalled. They had to punt. First offensive play of the game for Westside. a 65-yard touchdown run for Cage Brokens. Christian Plancarte had the point after kick. It was 7-0 Pirates with 8:48 to play in the opening quarter of action. Bear Lake gets the ball back, another 3 and out. Westside gets the ball. They march it down the field and score on a 2-yard touchdown run by Christian Plancarte. He also had the PAT to make it 14-0 Westside after a quarter of play. On to the second quarter. Bear Lake driving. They throw a pass over the middle. The receiver is fighting for yardage. He only needed a yard on a 4th down play. Picked up 4, but then as he stood up, the ball gets punched out. Bryler Shirtliff recovers the fumble for Westside with 11:53 to play before halftime. And Westside turned that into points almost immediately, as on the very next play, they went for the home run. Blaze Brown, 18 yards to Bryler Shirtliff. And it was 20-0 Westside with like 11:30 to play before halftime. And you thought, oh boy, here we go again, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, you definitely thought that, and you definitely thought Bear Lake had to do something, and they did.
Bear Lake got the ball back on offense, punted. Westside got it back and was driving. And then at the 10-yard line, Cage Brokens fumbles the football, and it was recovered by Tyler Burbank. Oh, actually, sorry. Bear Lake did on the ensuing drive after they were down 20-0. They marched it all the way down the field, and Tayson Neal scored on a 10-yard touchdown run on a scramble play that was basically broken. It was a pass play. The pocket collapsed. Neal took off and ran into the end zone for the touchdown. And then the 2-point conversion pass was a thing of beauty. Brady Shaw came in motion left to right out of the slot. They gave it to Shaw on a jet sweep. He dropped back to pass. It was a wide receiver pass to the corner of the end zone to Jordan Garbett, and that made it 20-8 Westside with 8:23 to play before halftime. So Bear Lake was on the board, feeling the momentum. Westside gets the ball. They're driving deep into Bears territory. Cage Brokens fumbles at the 10-yard line. Tyler Burbank recovers the fumble for Bear Lake. And all of a sudden, a 56-yard pass from Neal to Shaw gets it into Westside territory. And Bear Lake got it all the way down to the 10-yard line of the Pirates, but could not convert. A 4th and 5 pass from the 15 ends up falling incomplete. And so Bear Lake is turned away empty-handed. But at the very least, it's a 2-score game when it could have been a 3-score game.
Yeah, I mean, Bear Lake has just kind of stayed with it, and that's kind of what they've done the last few games of the season. They've been able to just stay in the game, stay positive, and find a way to win, and that's really what they've been doing. And kind of just going back a little bit, that kind of started their run was Beersley just came 10 yards from kind of the end zone running in with a full head of steam and just ran back a nice kickoff return. And that kind of got the team going, I thought, offensively. And they had that nice drive, and so Bear Lake's kind of controlled the ball, but Westside's been able to capitalize with the points. Just the efficiency Westside's had all year.
Yes, yeah, Bear Lake's been right there. Yeah, Beersford, you mentioned, has made several great plays. Tayson Neal has just been a little bit off on some of the passes. They've been behind the receivers a couple of times. Let's take a look at the first half stats, and we'll start with Westside, who has the lead. The Pirates had 148 yards on the ground in the opening half, 52 yards through the air for a nice even 200 yards of total offense. For Bear Lake, 45 yards on the ground, 100 yards through the air, 145 yards of total offense. Individually for Westside in the first half, it's actually Parker Moser leading the way, 9 carries for 71 yards. Cage Brokens has 5 carries for 62 yards in the touchdown, so 12 yards a carry, no big deal.
Is normal.
And Christian Plancarte has 3 carries for 15 yards and a touchdown as well. Passing-wise, Blaze Brown, 4 of 5 in the opening half for 52 yards and a touchdown. Bryler Shirtliff has 2 catches for 33 yards and a touchdown. It is Parker Moser, 1 catch for 12 yards, and Easton Henderson has 1 catch for 7 yards. For the Bear Lake Bears, leading rusher in the first half was Alex Alleman, 3 carries for 18 yards. Matthews has 4 carries for 13 yards. That's Blake Matthews. Tayson Neal, the quarterback, 7 carries, 12 yards, and a touchdown. And it is Tyler Beersford, 4 carries for 2 yards. Tayson Neal, 7 of 13 passing, 100 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. And receiving-wise, Brady Shull, 1 catch for 56 yards. Jordan Garbutt, 2 catches for 20 yards. Tyler Beersford has 3 catches for 17 yards. And Bryson Crane has 1 catch for 7 yards. He's the guy I'm keeping my eye on in the second half for Bear Lake. Bryson Crane is a guy who's been very involved in the offense in these first 2 playoff games for the Bears. And I think if the Bears want to make a comeback, he's got to get more involved.
Yeah, that Crane would be the guy to go to, but I think you don't see a lot of Crane is because on the opposite side of him is Bryler Shurtleff a lot of times when they line up. So that's a good matchup right there for sure to keep an eye on. But I think Bear Lake's got to also kind of keep that balance. I think they've got to look to run still a little bit to keep the West Side defense kind of at home. So because once West Side knows you're going to be passing, that defense closes down quickly on the quarterback. I've seen out through the season, and just eliminates that time. And when the quarterback doesn't have time, it leads to turnovers.
I will say that both defensive lines have played exceptionally well tonight. Bear Lake really holding their own at the point of attack. Really, it's been to the outside is where they've kind of gotten gashed, right? Brokens has taken it outside a couple of times. Plancarte on those sweeps has kind of given them problems as well. So, yeah, Bear Lake will kick off to start this second half. An important drive for West Side to go up 3 scores and really put Bear Lake behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, if West Side can come out and score here, I think that's just a huge advantage for the second half. But on the other hand, if Bear Lake can come up with a defensive stop and just kind of rally, I think the game's wide open. But I mean, pretty important for both sides. You know, I like what Bear Lake's done defensively against West Side, and if they can just kind of limit them, I think that's what Bear Lake wants to do. They just kind of want to stay in the game and be able to kind of strike when they can.
Yeah, Bear Lake seems to come through in the clutch moments so far in the postseason. They've definitely been a second-half team as the fireworks go off here at Lyle Henderson Field, and the West Side Pirates come back out onto the field, serenaded by the Pirates of the Caribbean theme, courtesy of the West Side High Pep Band. It really is a spectacle here at Dayton's West Side High.
Yeah, they have. Now, they're the only team I've seen this year, and I don't know if anyone else does, but the West Side Pirates have fireworks on both end zones.
Yes.
They have some national anthem fireworks by the flag, and then they've got some down on the other side for, touchdowns, halftime. They've got a good firework guy.
And what I love is at the end of the game, all the inventory that hasn't been used, they light it all off.
Oh, yeah, we've seen that. Yeah, they do a good little show.
The leftovers. It's a nice little fireworks show at the end of the game. So, as we mentioned, West Side will get the ball to start the second half, leading 20-8 over the Bear Lake Bears. The winner of this game moves on to the 2A state championship, which, no matter what happens, I think is going to be played in Holt Arena next week, because all 4 teams that are left all hail from the eastern side of the state, right? You've got Bear Lake and West Side here in this semi. It's Firth and North Fremont tomorrow. So when 2 teams from the east play each other, generally speaking, they play that in Holt Arena in Pocatello.
Yeah, I think you're right there that no matter what, 2A is going to be decided in the Holt Arena this year.
So North Fremont and Firth play tomorrow in Ashton at 1 o'clock. That is a game that we will have video coverage of on IdahoSports.com. That's going to be a fantastic game. North Fremont defeated Firth 22-21 in the regular season finale. That's like this game. It's a matchup of district rivals from District 6 up north in the Nuclear Conference. And Firth had the lead. Firth had a big lead and kind of gave it away to North Fremont, and the Huskies rallied to win 22-21. Same thing happened last year. North Fremont beat Firth in the regular season, and then they met in the semifinals, and Firth knocked off the Huskies 7-6. It was that game that was played in a raging snowstorm. It was a blizzard throughout all of East Idaho. North Fremont held a 6-0 lead almost the entire way. In the fourth quarter, they had a key fumble. Taden Jacobson scooped it and scored it like 87 yards for a Firth touchdown. They got the PAT. Firth won 7-6. Played West Side in the championship, where West Side won by nearly 40 points. And so then West Side and Firth play in the season opener, and you think, all right, a rematch of the championship, but West Side won by 40. This probably won't be close. Well, it certainly was. Went to overtime. Cage Broken scored with less than 10 seconds to play for Westside, and the Pirates took the lead. But on the ensuing kickoff, Gage Vasquez returned it 80 yards for a touchdown as time expired to send the game to overtime. In overtime, Broken scored again, and Westside escaped with the 26-20 win in overtime. So a lot of people are thinking, Westside Firth might be a fun championship matchup. Westside North Fremont, both teams would go into that game undefeated. And Bear Lake wants a piece of Firth as well. They lost to Firth in the regular season. So a lot of good matchups no matter what happens here. Third quarter kickoff by Bear Lake as a line drive taken on a hop by Parker Henderson at the 10, the 20, up the middle, Henderson, the 35, the 40, and a good return out to the 43-yard line by Parker Henderson, the opening kickoff of the third quarter.
Nice job by Parker Henderson, man. He had a full head of steam, and he was going. You saw the Bear Lake kicker was starting to get a little worried that he was going to have to make a tackle.
So 1st and 10 for the Pirates of Westside, working left to right here in this third quarter of action. Leading 20-8. Blaze Brown under center to start. Split backs behind him, wingback Plancarte on the left side of the formation, and Bryler Shirtliff is the wide receiver out to the right. They will start with a handoff. No, fake the handoff to Brokens. Brown trying to keep it, and Brown is able to get 2 yards on the play. I thought he was going to be smacked in the backfield, somehow spun out of it, and takes it for a gain of 2. On the tackle for Bear Lake is Peyton Uxenbein. So a gain of 2 for Blaze Brown, and that is his first carry of the ball game. He doesn't run the ball much, just enough to keep you on your toes. And it's 2nd and 8 for Westside from their own 45.
Blaze Brown is just good at getting away from the trouble, right? He's very elusive.
Slippery. 2nd and 8. Brown inside counterplay. Cage Brokens bowling over his own offensive lineman, taking it across the 50 to the Bear Lake 47. Should be enough for a first down.
Cage Brokens is just so fun to watch. He even had a little extra on his roll to get up,
He basically ran into his own lineman. It's like, get out of my way.
Come on, and then he's always ready. You always notice he's ready for the next play. He's like, I think he would go as fast as they would let him go.
Yeah, certainly. 7 yards for Brokens there makes it 1st and 10 for Westside. Ball at the Bear Lake 48-yard line. 10:35 to play in the third. 20-8 Westside lead. Brown under center. Quarterback keeper up the middle, the 40, and down to the 39-yard line. Keeper by Brown. It'll be 2nd and short for the Pirates.
That's a nice kind of mix-up play calling for Westside. I like that. It keeps the defense kind of at bay because, who can give it to pretty much anyone on Westside's offense to run the ball now.
Brokens, Plancarte, Moser. Now we got to worry about Brown running the football too. 2nd and 2. Handoff right side. No, quarterback keeper again plays Brown across the 35 down to the 34. A gain of 6 and a first down.
The one thing about Westside you'll notice is if they find something that works, they're going to keep doing it until it doesn't. They're going to exploit that matchup or whatever until it runs dry.
I'm sure Coach Moser gave a very spirited halftime talk to his guys saying basically, let's put this one to bed.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Let's set the tone on this opening drive of the third quarter. Handoff right side. Brokens breaking a tackle inside the 30 down to the 26. It's going to be 2nd down and short again as Jordan Garbett came up to make the tackle for Bear Lake.
And, most teams would be pretty happy at halftime with a 2-score lead, but Westside is used to probably 3 or 4-score lead.
Certainly. It'll be 2nd down and 3 for the Pirates after the 7-yard run by Brokens. Ball is at the Bear Lake 27. 9 minutes to play in the third. Westside leading 20-8. 2nd and 3. Brown out of the shotgun. Will hand off right side. This is Brokens taking it across the 20 inside the 15. Still going. Look at the run by Cage Brokens. Takes it all the way down around the 10 for a first down. Never stopped on the play.
Kind of got held up, did a little spin, and carried someone with him.
Looks like that ball is going to be placed at the 12. And so a gain of 15 on the carry for Cage Brokens. Sets up a 1st and 10 for Westside from the Bear Lake 12, leading 20-8 and 8:20 to play in the third. Brown out of the shotgun, high snap, will keep it up the middle and takes it to the 5, where it'll be 2nd down. Bear Lake just trying to get a stop here. They did force a turnover the last time Westside had the ball down near the goal line. So the Bears looking for that takeaway here. It'll be 2nd down and 4 for the Pirates after the 6-yard run by Blaze Brown.
And this is where Bear Lake's defense has been really strong. The defensive line in these goal line situations has been able to kind of come up with stops.
2nd and 4 from the 5. Hand off to Moser right side and into the end zone for a Westside touchdown. A 5-yard scoring run for Parker Moser on his first carry of the second half.
Westside is really able to just get everyone involved in running the ball there, so that was a nice job. I like the designed runs for Blaze Brown. That's just kind of a different look, and it worked really well.
Plancarte on for the PAT. His last one was blocked, and this one misses wide left. Oh, no, they'll say it snuck through. All right, it looked like it wrapped around the pole, but
I thought it missed as well, Brandon. So
all right, 27-8 Westside as Parker Moser scores for the first time tonight. And it's now 28-8 Westside with 7:40 to play here in the third. Tonight's game on IdahoSports.com. Brought to you in part by Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. They offer a wide array of services, including physicians' clinics, emergency care, home health, dialysis, physical therapy, orthopedic surgery, weight loss surgery, and much, much more. To get more information, visit blmhospital.com or call 208-847-1630 today. Bear Lake Memorial Hospital is a proud supporter of Bear Lake Athletics. Good luck, boys. Tonight's game also brought to you by Bear Lake Furniture Company. They carry Ashley Furnishings and Mattresses, Home Elegance, 5-star mattresses, Maloof bedding, and more. They strive to provide the highest quality available to make your house a home, all at a price you can afford. Owners Emily and Jason Schwarting are proud supporters of Bear Lake Athletics. Stop in and visit them at 1000 Washington Street in Montpelier or give them a call at 208-847-1301. Bear Lake Furniture Company, brand name furniture always on sale.
I like that street 1000.
Yeah,
what's your street 1000?
That's a power move, isn't it?
Yeah, I like
What's your address? 1000 Washington Street. Through the back of the end zone for a touchback with 7:40 to play in the third. Bear Lake trailing 27-8. Bears at this point, Sean, pretty much have to cash in on every single drive.
Yeah, and that's been the story. We've talked about it. If you don't match up or cash in on your drives, the efficiency of Westside can make your night very difficult, and that's what's happened so far tonight. And Bear Lake's got to come up with something here.
1st and 10 for the Bears from their own 20-yard line, working right to left here in this third quarter of action. Neal in a shotgun with 2 receivers to either side. They will start with a handoff off the right side for a gain of a yard. On the carry that time for the Bears looked like Blake Matthews. So Matthews gets a yard, and it's 2nd and 9.
And he just, the Westside defense is just so strong. Where do you attack at? I just don't know. But they've been successful passing the ball, but they're going to Bear Lake's going to have to run it a little bit, I think, just to open it up.
7:10 to play in the third. Neal on 2nd and 9, throwing back, and a diving catch made around the 24-yard line on the far side. That was a great job to look it in that time by Bryson Crane. So his second reception of the night, first reception of the second half, is good for a gain of 3 to make it 3rd down and 6. Well, we'll call it 3rd down and a long 5.
That's what you said. Crane needs to get involved for Bear Lake, and it's kind of been their go-to guy here in the postseason, and hopefully they can get him going here on this drive.
Crane listed as a quarterback on the roster, but he's been playing receiver. He's only a sophomore, which leads me to believe he will take over at quarterback next year when Taysom Neal graduates. Neal over the middle, broken up. Christian Plancarte got a hand in on it as they were trying to go over the middle to Garbett. It's 4th down.
And Crane's he's a big guy too. He's not a small fella out there.
None of these guys are from Bear Lake.
They're all, they're just all big.
And a quick 3 and out here for the Bears. Garbett will line up to punt. Shirtliff and Shirtliff back deep to return. Easton and Breiler. It will be Easton. Shirtliff muffing the football and just kicking it out of bounds around the 34-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Westside. That's a heads-up play as Easton Shirtliff muffed the punt. He was close enough to the sideline that he just kind of pushed it out of bounds.
Yeah, it was, the punt had enough air on it that Bear Lake just couldn't quite get there in time, but good heads-up play to get it out of bounds. And just kind of went off his shoulder pad, his left shoulder pad there.
So 1st and 10 for Westside with 6:13 to play in the third, leading 27-8. And now if you're Bear Lake, now the defense has to come up with stops. You can't allow any more scores either.
No, you've got to try to find a way to make Westside punt. I'm not sure if they have a punter, but no, I'm joking. I know who it is, but they've got to get him out there.
1st and 10, Brown back to pass over the middle. That's caught in stride. Shirtliff, 40, 50, 40 down the near sideline, 30, the 20, the 10, and cut down around the 5-yard line. Boy, Breiler Shirtliff ran about a 10-yard route across the middle, takes it all the way from his own 34 down to the 6 for a 1st down for the Pirates.
Nice tackle by Bear Lake, though, just to not give up the score. Just barely got him. I think it was Beersford, just barely.
That play went for 59 yards from Blaze Brown to Breiler Shirtliff. It sets up a 1st and goal for Westside from the 7 with 5:38 to play here in the third, and the Pirates leading 27-8. Brown out of the shotgun. Handoff, right side, sweep play. Brokens now cuts up towards the middle, and will be down at the 1 for Cage Brokens. Well, we'll see where they mark it. Might be closer to the 2. Either way, 2nd and goal. So 5 yards for Brokens on that run. 2nd and goal for the Pirates from the 2. 5:05 to play in the third, and Westside leading 27-8. Brown under center. Wing T, Brokens the back behind him. Plancarte in motion right to left. Handoff up the middle to Brokens. And did he break the plane? They say yes, he did. 2-yard touchdown, Cage Brokens.
Just like that.
Westside makes you pay every single time.
And if you're Bear Lake, you're like, wow, Westside kind of muffed a punt. They're not invincible. And then 2 plays later,
Plancarte's kick is through. Again, Westside, they're like a shark in the water. They can smell the blood. They go for the big pass. 59 yards to Breiler Shirtliff. Set up 1st and goal from the 7. And from there, Brokens takes it in from 2 yards out to make it 34-8. Westside with 4:51 to play in the third. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Brolam's Supermarket, a proud supporter of the Bear Lake Bears. Your hometown supermarket serving the freshest foods with friendly service. Brolam's is home to hand-cut meats, homemade sausage, fresh salads, and meals made simple, as well as cookies like your mom makes. Also remember their convenient drive-through pharmacy located at 130 South 4th Street in Montpelier. Brolam's Fresh Foods has been serving southeastern Idaho for 80 years. Go Bears. Tonight's game also brought to you by D&T Electric. D&T Electric Heating and Cooling is a proud supporter of Westside Athletics and wants to wish the boys good luck in the state semifinals.
I like one of the students' sweatshirts in front of us. It says, trust me, I'm a Pirate.
Well, you know, as you drive into Dayton, as this kickoff will go into the end zone for a touchback, as you drive into Dayton, you start to see about 10 miles out those black Pirate flags on the side of the road leading into town. And then as you get closer to the high school, the flags become more prevalent as you're walking around the concourse of Lyle Henderson Field here in Dayton, which has a beautiful track, by the way. Nice rubberized track, and then the natural grass. You see the flags posted up everywhere. It's just a great atmosphere here in Dayton.
Yeah, and just settled right in the mountains with the clouds kind of rolling in tonight. And yeah, it's a beautiful setting for football.
The Pirates plunging and pillaging their way to a 34-8 lead. Plundering and pillaging, that's what I was looking for.
They need the ship with the cannon on it, right, to shoot those fireworks.
That's right. First and 10 for Bear Lake from their own 20. Home run ball by Neal. It's intercepted. That ball picked up by Robinson at the 45. And a return to the Bear Lake 30, and a penalty flag in at the end of the play as well. Hayden Robinson intercepts the pass for Westside. We'll see what the call is here. It is a block in the back against Westside on the interception return.
And not a bad idea from Bear Lake to kind of go for a little something to start with, but just a little underthrown by Neal and picked off. Great catch.
Yeah, Hayden Robinson undercut it, right? Made that interception around the 45, returned it to the 30, but we'll see how far this block in the back penalty moves him back. With 4:42 to play in the third, 34-8 Westside lead here over Bear Lake. It's a spot foul penalty, so it all depends on where the penalty occurred. Looks like it's going to be 1st and 10 for Westside with the ball right at their own 45 yards, right where Robinson intercepted it, essentially. 1st and 10 for the Pirates, leading 34-8, 4:42 to play in this 2A semifinal showdown. Wing T, Plancarte in motion left to right. They hand off to Plancarte. He bobbled the handoff and had to stop his momentum and gets right back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
I think it went behind his back. I think he held it behind his back and luckily held enough pressure against his back, and the ball one-handed and swung it back forward, or it could have been disastrous.
That could have been bad. Yeah, like I said, they like getting him in motion left to right to kind of build up that speed because he is the speed back, and then giving it to him on the sweeps. But that time he had to completely stop what he was doing just to secure the ball. So right back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10 for the Pirates from the Bear Lake 45, working left to right here in this third quarter of action. 4:01 to play in the period. Brown under center, split backs behind him, double handoff inside. This is Plancarte, the 40, and down to the 38-yard line. In on the tackle for Bear Lake that time is Blake Matthews. So a gain of 6 on the carry for Plancarte.
And that's why it's so difficult. Once Westside gets a lead, you know, now they're just able to really run the ball, you know, just so efficiently that it's hard to get the ball back and have any time left to score.
Death by 1,000 cuts. Brown back to pass. Slant route caught. Shirtliff at the 30. Down to the 28. Ball came out again, but they will say he was down. So a first down for Westside. That is a gain of 11 and a first down from Brown to Shirtliff on a slant.
And then how many slants have they has Brown thrown to him, to Breiler this year? I would say pretty high.
Well, and I mean, now 1st and 10 for Westside, and Breiler Shirtliff is so big. You know, he's 6'3", 180, runs like a gazelle. You know, last year, well, we'll talk more about it after this play and the development of Breiler Shirtliff, the wide receiver, and why he got signed by Idaho State University. 1st and 10, Brown, handoff up the middle, crashing forward for a yard, and that's it. That's Cage Brokens carrying the ball that time for a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and 8. So last year, you know, Breiler Shirtliff was all-state at receiver, defensive back, and kicker. Only player to be named All-State at 3 positions. But he admitted last year that he just relied on his athleticism to get open and make plays. And he really started to take it more seriously this summer because he wanted to play college football. So he really started working on his footwork and his route running. And his routes are so sharp now, combined with his physicality and his athleticism, he's almost impossible to stop. So he really put in the work this offseason. Brown in trouble, sacked by Taysom Neal, back at the 32-yard line, 3rd and long.
Wow. And that's why Neal leads the team in sacks. He is quick, and he comes in a hurry.
Like a scene out of The Water Boy. He was in the back. Brown never saw him coming. He was rolling out to the right side. Neal was rushing off the edge.
And you get the crowd everyone went, made that stop when you saw Neal coming in.
So Brown is sacked for a loss of 7 to make it 3rd and 15 for Westside. Ball back at the 32-yard line at Bear Lake with 1:20 to play in the 3rd, and the Pirates leading 34-8. Brown rolling out left side, feeling the pressure on the run, throwing low and incomplete for Plancarte at the 30-yard line. It's 4th down.
And the other thing I noticed about Breiler is he's really good at making that target. Like, he gets his body in the right position and gives the quarterback, Brillies Brown, a very definite target to throw to on those slants and stuff. He gets his body in the right places, and as a quarterback, and that's what you want.
Timeout taken by Westside, their first timeout of this second half of action. Comes with 1:13 to play in the 3rd, as they will probably go for it here on 4th down. Just want to draw up the right play. Tonight's game brought to you in part by UNI Furniture. They would like to wish the Westside boys good luck in the state semis. The U is for Utah and the I is for Idaho. And they offer complete home furnishings, appliances, and flooring products that are up to date. And they commit to giving you the best buy at UNI. Go Pirates from UNI Furniture. Tonight's game also brought to you by Gary Tusher CPA. Need help with bookkeeping, personal and business tax returns, or payroll? The folks at Gary H. Tusher CPA are ready to help you. Call 208-847-2601 for an appointment or visit their website at GaryTCPA.com. See Gary in Montpelier at 110 North 8th Street. Gary Tusher and his staff is a proud supporter of Bear Lake Athletics. Good luck this weekend, boys. So out of the timeout, Westside will go for it here on 4th down and 15 from the 32-yard line of Bear Lake with 1:13 to play in the 3rd. Brown under center, Plancarte in motion right to left. You figure they're going to go to the air here. Brown back to pass. Bear Lake sends the rush, throwing over the middle. It's intercepted. That ball picked off at the 25-yard line by Beersford. On the return out to the 30, and a penalty flag comes in at the end of the play as well. So Tyler Beersford comes away with the interception for Bear Lake, and we'll see what this penalty is.
Yeah, just not quite enough on that ball. And there's 2 Bear Lake receivers right in the vicinity of Briar Sherliff, so.
That is a personal foul face mask penalty against Westside, so tack on 15 more yards at the end of the interception return with 1:02 to play in the 3rd. This is what Bear Lake needed to try and get back into this game, down 34-8. 4th and long, and yeah, Brown, that time Bear Lake sent 6 rushers. Brown was feeling the heat, just threw it up for grabs, and Tyler Beersford comes away with the interception for the Bears.
He's kind of been their fire guy, for Bear Lake tonight. He's been able to kind of get them going offense and defensively.
So 1st and 10 for Bear Lake from their own 45-yard line, working right to left for the final 1:02 of this 3rd quarter. Neal, quick pitch left side. The ball came out. It's fumbled and recovered by Westside inside the 40. Carson Chugg with the fumble recovery for Westside. So one play after getting a takeaway, Bear Lake gives it right back. They tried the toss play off the left side. That long pitch never got there. Matthews couldn't hang on, and Carson Chugg recovers for the Pirates.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you're able to come up with a couple turnovers from Westside, you got to feel pretty good. But now Bear Lake with a little bit of the turnover bug.
This is kind of like that 2A quarterfinal game we did last Friday.
The third quarter kind of went this way too, right? Yeah. Punts and turnovers.
Declo and Firth, 3 plays in a row, fumbled it back to the other team. 1st and 10 for Westside. Counterplay left side. This is Parker Moser taking it across the 35 down to the 34. A gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4.
Yeah, and in the Declo Firth game, though, neither team was really able to score, and Westside's been able to get a couple scores here.
Yes. Westside alone has nearly outscored Declo and Firth combined in that
whole game, right?
Yeah, that whole quarterfinal game. Last play of the third. Handoff right side to Moser across the 30 and brought down around the 27. Should be enough for the first down, and it is. A gain of 7, and that's how the third quarter will end, with the Westside Pirates in control over their rivals from Bear Lake. After 3, it is Westside 34, Bear Lake 8. Fourth quarter headed your way in a matter of moments. So Westside outscores Bear Lake 14-0 in that third quarter of action. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Rain in Style, proud to be a sponsor of all high school sports. Rain in Style provides custom alternatives to make you and your animals stand out in a crowd. Use coupon code IdahoSports with your order and get 10% off now. Whether you need collars or leashes for your dog, beautiful colorful tack for your horse, or a cool gift or decor item for you, Rain in Style can help you out. Conveniently located in Boise, and products are custom made to your needs. So you can log on to raininstyle.com. Grab life by the reins and play hard tonight. Tonight's game also brought to you by Cliff Stokes Plumbing, serving the Cache Valley for 10 years. Cliff has over 35 years of experience in the plumbing industry, so whether it's a new install, a repair, a water heater changeout, or time for an upgrade, call the experts at Cliff Stokes Plumbing at 435-770-8251. Cliff Stokes Plumbing wants to wish the West Side boys good luck in the state semifinals. West Side Pep Band continuing the tunes here into the fourth quarter as we flip the field. 1st and 10 for the Pirates from the 26-yard line of Bear Lake. Now working right to left here in this fourth quarter. Brown back to pass, throwing in the flat. It's caught by Shirtliff, outruns the first defender, and then is taken down at the 20-yard line. Gain of 6, 2nd and 4.
So Westside's thrown the ball a little more than I kind of expected coming into this game. So, you know, I think that's good to see from Westside to get those passes going.
You know, last week I believe Blaze Brown was 8 of 10 passing, and tonight he is now 7 of 9. So pretty much right on. 2nd and 4. Handoff right side. Easton Henderson inside the 20 and down around the 15. First down. They will mark it actually down at the 10. Should be 1st and goal.
So just like that, just a big swing of momentum, right?
Yeah. So Henderson with his first carry of the night, the fullback in this West Side offense. 1st and goal from the 10. Brown will line up under center with the wing T formation. They will hand off on they'll fake the handoff to Plancarte. Brown will keep it on a QB sweep right side, and he will pick up a yard, and that's it. They may say right back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, just back to the line of scrimmage. Kind of slipped up there and couldn't quite get his footing going.
So Blaze Brown had 0 carries in the first half, 8 carries now in this second half. 10 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. 2nd and goal from the 9, they'll say, for West Side. Brown will keep it up the middle into the end zone. Touchdown, West Side. How exciting was that score? My voice almost gave out. 40-8 West Side.
You better rest it up.
Oh, I know.
You've got a few more tomorrow.
Dude, my voice is running on fumes, no doubt about it. The offseason's going to be nice.
all 1 week of it before basketball.
So a 9-yard touchdown run for Blaze Brown. Point after try from Plancarte is blocked for the second time tonight. Blocking at that time for Bear Lake was one of the defensive linemen. And so 9:51 to play. 40-8 West Side.
Yep, and West Side just kind of on target to kind of hit their averages, right? They average about 44 points a game and only give up 8 a game, so West Side just on line to what they normally do.
Right, yeah, right in line with the averages, that's for sure. As we get ready for the next kickoff, we'll tell you tonight's game is brought to you in part by Schwab Matthews Mortuary. As they work with families to celebrate and honor the life of loved ones, Schwab Matthews Mortuary provides services offering personalized burial vaults and caskets, horse-drawn hearse, audio and transcribed recordings of funerals, prearranged funeral plans, and headstone design. Having 2 licensed funeral directors, Chad Walker, Bear Lake County coroner and licensed mortician, and Dane Schwab, owner and licensed mortician, Schwab Matthews Mortuary and staff will continue to provide superior funeral service to members of all faiths. Please visit them on the web at MatthewsMortuaryInc.com or call them at 208-847-0451. Matthews Mortuary is a proud supporter of Bear Lake Athletics. Good luck, boys. That kickoff goes into the end zone for a touchback. And so, 1st and 10 for the Bear Lake Bears from their own 20-yard line, trailing 40-8 with 9:51 to play. A comeback at this point for Bear Lake, highly improbable. Not impossible, but, at this point now, you're just trying to end the game with some positive momentum, right?
Yeah, you've had a great season.
High snap. Neal will hand off right side and blown up in the backfield for a loss of a yard. On the carry was Alleman that time. And in on the tackle for the West Side Pirates, charging through Easton Shirtliff.
If you're Bear Lake, you've had your season kind of been under the radar, and, you've really showed the state of Idaho that, you're a team to contend with at this level, and that's nothing to hang your hat on.
No, for Bear Lake, nothing to be ashamed of this season. They've kind of been undervalued, underrespected a little bit this year, underrated. And they had a fine season with head coach Ryan Messerly leading the way. High snap, Neal back to pass and sacked. Back around the 7. Looked like the first guy in there for the Pirates was Aaron McDaniel, the defensive tackle. Actually, Angel Montano, beg your pardon. Montano was in there along with Easton Henderson. It is 3rd down and long for the Pirates with 8:40 to play.
Man, Easton Henderson has just been involved in everything, I feel like, tonight.
Well, and I mean, that's the thing with this West Side team. It's a number of playmakers on both sides. 3rd and long. Neal will drop back to pass, has time, firing to the outside. It's batted away by who else? Easton Henderson.
and he's made a lot of plays too that probably just don't come up on stats, but he's just kind of involved every time, just defensively, and he gets involved offensively as well too. But he's got a lot of hustle. He's kind of like that rebounder on the basketball team, right? He might not score a ton of points, but he gets 15 rebounds.
He's a neighborhood guy. He's always in the neighborhood, it seems like. 4th down, Bear Lake will punt from their own end zone. Garbett to punt it away. Line drive kick. And both of the Shirtlifts, Breiler and Easton, both say, yeah, I'm not going to go for it. It will be downed by Bear Lake at their own 49-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10 for the Pirates with 8:06 to play.
That's kind of interesting. The Bear Lake player, went to touch the ball for the punt, and the ref didn't blow the whistle, and he had to go down and touch it again.
Right. tonight's game brought to you by Preston Auto Parts. For over 20 years, Preston Auto Parts has been serving the folks in Preston and the surrounding area with the best auto parts and customer service around. Preston Auto Parts is an independent CarQuest dealer and proudly supports Westside Athletics. Preston Auto Parts wants to wish the boys good luck in the state semifinals tonight. 1st and 10 for Westside. Blaze Brown still in there. Plancarte in motion left to right. Handoff right side to Parker Henderson. Has the first down across the 40 and down to the 39-yard line for a first down. A gain of 10 on the nose for Henderson. And he has 2 carries for 20 yards tonight.
A couple first downs.
Yeah, averaging right at 10 yards a carry. And now for Westside, right, they just want to milk the clock. We're down to 7:40 and counting in this ball game, leading 40-8. 1st and 10 for the Pirates from the Bear Lake 40. Brown under center, counter play left side. This is Easton Shirtlift for the first time tonight. Inside the 35, down to the 33. Gain of 7.
Got to imagine Westside's going to probably start getting some guys some time here.
Well, Cage Brokens, he's done for the night. I can pretty much guarantee you that. As Brown lines up under center, wing T formation. Bryther Shirtlift still out there at wide receiver for the Pirates. Usually by this point he's got the coach's headset on the sidelines. Hand off to Easton Henderson right side, inside the 30, down to the 28 for a gain of 5. And another first down. Actually on the carry that time for Westside was Owen Nielsen for the first time tonight. So Nielsen for a gain of 5 to make it 1st and 10 for Westside. Ball at the 29-yard line. Brown under center, handoff up the middle, and Bear Lake there to stop Easton Henderson. Charging through on the stop was Alex Alleman. With 6:10 to play, and Westside up 40-8. Actually a loss of a yard on the carry by Henderson. Go ahead, Sean.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, Bear Lake's front line, defensively is they're really good, and the score line might not show it, but that's a good front line, and they've done a great job tonight. They've just come up against a team that is just so hard to stop.
2nd and 11, handoff to Henderson up the middle across the 25 and down to the 20. That is a gain of 10 to make it 3rd and 1. Closer to 9, we'll call it, to make it 3rd and 2. Meanwhile, the clock continuing to roll, 5:20 to play in this 2A semifinal. Westside leading 40-8 over Bear Lake. Brown under center. Wing T formation again. Handoff left side. Easton Henderson breaks it to the 18-yard line, and enough for the first down. They needed 2. They got 3.
When it's short yardage, Westside getting it, it's so difficult to stop them. I think that's what makes them good too. So good is even if it's just 3 or 2 yards, they're just so good at getting those yards. Just the hard nitty-gritty way that it makes them just a tough team.
4:40 and counting in this ball game. 40-8. Westside leading. Brown under center. Wing T. Deep back is Henderson. They will fake and give to Plancarte on a sweep off the right side across the 15. Brought down at the 14-yard line by Brady Shaw as Plancarte took it on the sweep that time for a gain of 5. So Westside doing what they do best, running the ball, running the clock. 4:05 to play here, leading 40-8 over Bear Lake. Advancing to the 2A state championship game for the 3rd year in a row. They're the 2-time defending state champions, Sean.
Wow. it's just, it's so hard to go back 3 times in a row.
Handoff up the middle. Easton Shirtliff will be down at the 1. Shirtliff wanted the touchdown. Instead, he'll get the first down, a gain of 13.
Yeah, he can't believe it. he's
Yeah,
like, what?
Hey, what gives? 3:37 to play. 40-8 West Side lead, first and goal from the 1. So yeah, a chance at the 3-peat in Holt Arena next week against either Firth or North Fremont. And they'll run their Idaho best winning streak to 31 wins in a row. They have not lost since early September of 2019. They lost 7-6 to Snake River. Handoff up the middle, Nielsen into the end zone. Touchdown, West Side. (46-8) Pirates.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, three-peating or even getting a chance to three-peat in any level of football is just, in high school football, is just so hard. It's just what an accomplishment to the program to even just have the chance to do it. Because every year, you lose guys and things change, but to be that consistent for 3 years is amazing.
Blancarte, extra point is through. 47-8 West Side with 3:07 to play. And we've heard West Side head coach Tyson Moser say this now 2 years in a row because this big winning streak just keeps building and building and building. And he goes, don't get me wrong, I love the winning streak, but honestly, I wouldn't mind a loss in the regular season. Non-conference game, of course. Yeah. Don't want any league losses. But he said, honestly, a loss in the middle of the season sometimes to a non-conference opponent, you can learn a lot about your team, right? You can learn a lot from a loss, and they just haven't had that opportunity in over 2 years.
And, and if you're I'm just thinking if you're a bigger school, say a division up, you don't want to play West Side.
Yeah, I mean.
So West Side probably doesn't have a lot of offers on the table to play them, right? I mean, I could see West Side wanting to play a team in a higher division, but if I'm a higher division team, I'm going, maybe not.
Well, West Side did beat both Marsh Valley and Snake River this year, a pair of 3A teams. The matchup I would love to see that will never happen is West Side against Preston.
Yeah.
Just 10 miles down the road. That's a 4A versus a 2A, but I think West Side would hold up pretty well.
They would definitely be in the game. You could even name that something, right? Could have some sort of
rivalry, right?
Yeah, fancy name to it. I don't know if there's a river that separates here or not, but they might take the pirate ship over there to Preston.
3:07 to play. Bryler Shirtliff will kick off following the 1-yard touchdown run by Owen Nielsen through the back of the end zone for a touchback. And for Bear Lake, their season will conclude with a 7-4 record. All four of their losses will come to potentially the two teams playing for the 2A state title, along with a Jackson Hole team that may very well win a state title in Wyoming. So nothing to be ashamed of for Bear Lake.
No, for once the rankings are pretty right. They're pretty much the fourth best team in the state.
Yes.
I mean, they don't play for third place, so Bear Lake's going to get a trophy no matter what for their season. So,
yeah, one of those, not the blue trophy. That's for the
green.
state champ. Yeah, I don't know the colors very well.
Third place is green, second place is red, and blue is what you want.
For the champions. Blue's for the closers. Alleman on 1st and 10 from his own 20. Takes it to the outside off the right side for a gain of 3.
And I wonder if there's some sort of reasoning to why those colors are that way. I don't know that.
I have no idea. You would think, gold, silver, bronze. Doesn't that make sense if you're handing out colors?
It is Idaho.
But, yeah, I don't know. You've lived here much longer than I have, Sean. So.
Yeah, well, I just didn't really think of it until right now. I'm like, everyone knows, we want the blue one. And I'm like, why are they blue?
Neal back to pass is complete at the 30 at the far side. Bryson Crane out to the 34-yard line and a first down for Bear Lake with 2:26 to play. Bear Lake trailing 47-8. Looks like Westside has brought in some of their reserves defensively. You know, we're starting to see players like McKay Mumford, who's a sophomore, and Jackson Beckstead, who's a sophomore, and kind of getting that next unit out there for Westside. This is why they're so good. They're able to.
We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
You train, you sweat, you practice, you go for the gold, you give 110%, but most of all, you aim for greatness. And Milk is the performance enhancer that can help get you to your goal. Trusted by athletes and backed by science, there's a healthy helping of greatness in every refreshing glass of milk. So let nature's original sports drink help quench your thirst for greatness. For more help finding your greatness, visit unbottled.com.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process, is readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
Welcome into the IdahoSports.com postgame show. Sorry, we got knocked offline there for the last, 6 minutes of game time.
Missed the fireworks.
Yeah, you missed the fireworks, and really the only thing that could be stopped tonight, certainly not the Westside offense, but maybe our broadcast.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Brandon Bainey alongside Sean Kane as it has gone final. Westside defeats Bear Lake 47-8. Owen Nielsen scored the final touchdown for Westside with 3:07 to play. Came on a 1-yard plunge. And so for the Pirates, moving on, 10-0, 31-game winning streak, best in the state of Idaho, and the third year in a row, Sean, they will be playing for the 2A state championship. They are the two-time defending state champions. They'll go for the three-peat next weekend in Holt Arena.
Yeah, we were sitting with the students and the girls volleyball team went back-to-back. So for volleyball state championship,
yes.
So no strangers to titles, one coming after another here in Dayton, Idaho. So great job by Westside, and man, how exciting.
For Bear Lake, they will finish the season 7-4. 2 of the 4 losses came to this Westside team. They also lost to Firth, which is playing in the other 2A semifinal tomorrow, and they lost to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which could win the 4A title over in Wyoming this year, which would be impressive. So for Bear Lake, yeah, this is a disappointing way to end the season, but you can't just look at the final result. You have to look at the entire journey. And for Bear Lake and Coach Messerly and all these players and fans, this has been a fun season for the Bears down in Montpelier.
Yeah, they've had, just look at the playoffs, 2 very exciting, close playoff wins, and being the 4th-ranked team, in the state, and just tons of accolades for Bear Lake. They played really well. They've had a great offense. They've had a great defense. They've come up big, and they just came up against a little bigger opponent here in Westside tonight. But what a great season for Bear Lake, the staff and all their students, and just a lot to be proud of and moving forward for next year.
I've said this a lot this year as we've covered Westside several times. It's not that Bear Lake is bad. Bear Lake's a really good team. Westside is just a great team, like a historically great
yes.
team, right? They make a lot of good teams look bad, and Bear Lake, a much better team than what the final score will indicate here in this game tonight. Let's hand out our IdahoSports.com player of the game. Sean, what do we got?
Hey, when we cover a Westside game, there's, about everyone on their team maybe could get this award, but
right.
for tonight, we're going to go with Bryler Shirtliff. He was electrifying tonight. He had 5 catches, 109 yards. He had a touchdown pass, right after he recovered a fumble. So he recovers a fumble, gets Westside the ball, next play, touchdown pass. He also was perfect on kickoffs. Every kickoff was all the way back into the end zone. So defensively, he made Bear Lake start on their own 20 every time. He's just a weapon in all facets of the game. So congratulations to him.
And he also, had a pass broken up tonight. Almost had a one-handed interception. I mean, he's just all over. So yeah, Bryler Shirtliff, a well-deserved IdahoSports.com player of the game. Well, that'll do it for this IdahoSports.com Game Streams production of the 2021 Idaho State Football Tournament. Tournament coverage on IdahoSports.com has been brought to you by the Idaho Division of Public Health, your local Toyota dealer, Valley-wide Co-op and Country Stores, and Project Filter. Stop smoking, start living. We'd also like to thank our local advertisers tonight for Westside, Preston Auto Parts, UNI Furniture, Cliff Stokes Plumbing, D&T Electric, and Rain in Style. And for Bear Lake, Brolam Supermarket, Bear Lake Memorial Hospital, Gary Tusher CPA, Schwab Matthews Mortuary, Bear Lake Furniture Company, and Rain in Style. The Westside Pirates advance to the 2A state championship game for the third year in a row. They'll go for the three-peat next weekend inside Holt Arena as they defeat Bear Lake tonight, 47-8, the final here in the 2A semifinals. Opponent to be determined. It'll be the winner of Firth and... All right, we're back. Brandon Maney, Sean Kane. Westside wins 47-8. We'll see you next week for Championship Saturday. Until then, thanks for tuning in, everybody, on IdahoSports.com.